Welcome back. Now, Nigerian economist and academic Professor Adedeji died on the 25th of April 2018. Professor Adedeji was instrumental in the fight and attainment of Namibia's independence and founding chairman of the Senate of the United Nations Institute for Namibia. Now, the Republic of Namibia is organizing a memorial service in honor of the professor this afternoon at the Namibia Institute of Public Administration and Management, NIPAM. I'm now joined by Daisry Mathias, the Presidential Advisor on Youth Matters and Enterprise Development, and she's now here in studio. Daisry, a very good morning to you, and many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning, Namibia.
Perhaps for the viewers who are wondering who Professor Adedeji was, can you just give us a bit of background on him?
His Excellency the President describes the late Professor Adedeji as a visionary nation builder, as an intellectual towering figure, and also as a Pan-Africanist of example. Professor Adedeji was very committed, and he was an activist who was passionate about Africa's development and also emancipation from colonialism and from economic exploitation. His was a long and illustrious career in management, in politics, and in diplomacy, and he recorded many firsts. He was one of the first Nigerians to become a teacher and a mentor at the then Public Administration University of Ife, Nigeria. He was a cabinet minister for the Nigerian government on economic development and reconstruction. He served as the executive secretary for the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, for 16 years, the longest period to ever been occupied by an executive secretary. And he, closer to home, he was the founding chairperson of the United Nations Institute for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia. And in his latter years, he was the chairperson of the African Peer Review Mechanism, high-level panel of eminent persons, which is government's important organ to take ownership of our governance agenda. Yeah.
Sorry, you're going to continue?
I think I was just going to conclude to say that although he was born in Nigeria, he was quite an international civil servant, and destiny would have it that he became a citizen of the world to the end. Yeah.
Let's speak about his time as the Executive Secretary for UNECA and, of course, his contributions perhaps towards Namibia in that position, but also perhaps on a broader scale for Africa.
When Professor Adedeji was the head of UNECA, he led and he initiated several Pan-African projects, and he collaborated closely with the then Organization of African Unity, the OAU. And the agenda there was to promote regional integration and also to advance the social and economic development of the continent. Some notable achievements during his leadership at UNECA was that they recorded the famous Lagos Plan of Action of 1980 and also the Abuja Treaty, which which created the establishment of the EAC, the Africa Economic Community, and also the Arusha Declaration of 1990, popularly known. He used his platform at UNECA because UNECA gained a lot of regional and global prominence during his leadership. He used that platform to really advocate for and to advance the cause in favor not only of Namibia, but of the oppressed people in Africa. And he shone the spotlight and mobilized international support to the cause of liberation.
And of course, through positions like being the Undersecretary for the UN as well in Africa, just in terms of his standing on some of the issues that faced Africa at the time, you're looking at colonial issues, for instance. He was a man who believed a lot in regional integration, post apartheid, post colonial oppression, etc. Do you think this dream of his, of regional integration in Africa, has been realized to a certain extent?
I believe that is what his legacy is and what he will be greatly remembered for. A lot of the developments that we have made in regional integration are because he was conceptual and he implemented really the infrastructure for the regional integration in Africa.
And when you look at the legacy, perhaps in your view, as a youth advisor on youth matters and enterprise development, what do you take away from the late professor?
The late Professor Adedeji was a leader ahead of his time, and he'll be remembered for a number of things, but perhaps 2 or 4 of the top items that he will be greatly remembered for is for the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which is now being signed in 2018 by African heads of state and government, but it really has his genesis in the Preferential Trade Agreement of 1981, which was authored by himself. Also, in his capacity as the chairperson of the high-level panel on the Audit Committee for the Reform of the AU, they documented the key reference document, which today is informing the African Union institutional reforms, which again are currently on the agenda for African heads of state at the next summit. Yeah. As a young Namibian, as a young African, and on behalf of my generation of young, emerging Pan-Africanist leaders, we can imbibe from and emulate the values that were espoused by the late professor, the values of integration, the values of unity, patriotism, democracy, a lifetime commitment to service and to excellence. And I believe this is the baton that has now been passed over to carry forward towards the Africa that we want and Agenda 2063.
Of course, fulfill his dream for Africa. I mean, overall, I think he was a very impressive man, so to say. I mean, becoming a professor at the age of, 36? You know, just looking at all his contributions that he has made. So he passed away on the 25th of April, and we are having a memorial service for him today, which begs the question, you know, why only now are we having a memorial service for him?
Namibia and President Geinkop enjoyed a very special relationship with the late Professor Adedeji, which dates back 40 years to when our current president was the director of the institute in Lusaka, Zambia, and the late professor was at that time the founding chairperson of the Senate of the Institute. And he had wholeheartedly believed in the cause of the Namibian people for independence and for freedom. And he contributed to our struggle in many ways and for many years. In some instances, his close association to the SWAPO freedom fighters put him at risk with the then apartheid regime, but he was consistent in advancing Namibia's cause to the United Nations through his platform that he had at UNECA and as chairperson. And even after independence, he continued to visit Namibia, this time supporting the new government, the new administration, with the daunting task of governance and nation building. And it is for this reason in 1995, the people of Namibia, through the leadership at the time of our founding father and founding president, Dr. Sam Nujoma, he received the honor of the Grand Commander of the Most Excellent Eagle, Order of the Eagle. Yep. And he also received honorary citizenship from Namibia in recognition of his contribution.
So just speak to us about the details of the memorial being held today at NIPAM. Just what exactly will be transpiring here?
The government of the Republic of Namibia is hosting this public memorial service to honor the life, the legacy, the contribution of late Professor Adedeji. And it will take place this afternoon, Wednesday, the 27th of June, 2018, at 1400 hours at NIPAM in Olympia. His Excellency the President is leading the tribute and extends an invitation to all members of public to participate and to commemorate their last respects. I extend an invitation to the youth to come and to learn from this exceptional personality that was Professor Adedeji.
Yep. Daisry, many thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
That was our Presidential Advisor on Youth Matters and Enterprise Development, Daisry Mathias, speaking to us there on the late Nigerian economist and academic. That's Professor Adedeji. Of course, he passed away on the 25th of April at the age of 87 years. And they will be having a memorial in honor of him and who he was and what he stood for. That is today happening at NIPAM. That is at 2 o'clock. If you do have the time, do make your way to NIPAM. That's in Olympia. Do stay with us.